Hello everyone. Today we are talking about botnets, how they work and why they exist. First of all, the word bot obviously comes from the word robot, which has been popularized as far as I know by Isaac Asimov, the US American science fiction writer of Eastern European descent, and the word robot is Czech as far as I know and means to work. So anyway, these bots just mean that they do something on their own. That's the definition of a bot. So it's an automated software that maybe can receive some kind of commands, but it's something that works without the user of the computer, of the infected computer in this case, having to do anything. Bots, which can infect many thousand or hundred thousands of computers, are usually controlled by a centralized server. This is more of an historic fact, but I will come back to this a little later. These bots can be distributed via Trojans, so as the malware part of a Trojan horse. They can obviously be distributed via viruses and also via worms. Now, these three possibilities are not the only possibilities, but they are the most common. So all mitigation tactics that work against either of those three attacks also by proxy work against bots. One defining characteristic of botnets is that if you are a user of a computer that's infected or that's part of a botnet, and we also talk about zombies in this case, so your computer now becomes a zombie because it does something without actually wanting to do that, and the only thing it wants to do is usually attack a target. Computers that are part of a botnet are often used as a cluster in order to attack a target. And these attacks or these transmissions to this target very often, or basically always, happen without the user's knowledge, so they're completely transparent to the user. Now, the term distributed denial of service or DDoS attack is probably familiar to you, and this is what botnets are usually used for. And you might wonder, okay, what are they actually sending to this server? And the answer is just spam. So there is a way to make these attacks more effective by using certain commands that increase the size of the payload you're sending. But usually it's just spam. You try to get as many infected computers as possible. As I've said, there could be thousands or hundreds of thousands of them, and just overload the server, and in order to deny the service. But furthermore, attackers can also gather passwords or messages, or they can log your keys with the botware or with the software that's actually part of the botnet. So a bot is not only used to, for example, send emails from your computer or to send packages from your computer, but can also be used as a remote access tool, for example. So I said previously that these botnets are usually controlled by a centralized server. This is a bit of an historic fact. I'll come back to this in a second, but these bots or these botnets have been controlled usually by IRC servers, so Internet Relay Chat. And the attacker now uses the IRC server in order to send commands to the bots. So what he does, for example, is start denial of service or scan target for maybe some vulnerabilities or for some passwords we might find. Now, if you know anything about security, you already realize that for the attackers, this is a bit of a problem because the IRC server is in fact a single point of failure. So if you're able as a security operative to shut down this server, then the whole botnet shuts down, right? The malware is still on your computer, obviously, but it can't be controlled anymore, right? The command and control is gone. Also, it was very not easy, but trivial to safeguard yourself against these kinds of attacks because these commands were issued via the IRC server and in a non-encrypted way. So you can very easily scan, like using, for example, an intrusion detection system, which you can watch a video about if you click the link on the top right corner, to scan for these kinds of commands. So it's very easy to actually block access to your infected computer from this IRC server. That's why nowadays attackers or botnets are controlled via peer-to-peer networks. And the beauty of peer-to-peer, of P2P, is that if one or two nodes fall out, it still works, which is the beauty of P2P, but in this case, it makes the job of security operatives a little bit more frustrating. But using all the mitigation tactics we've learned against Trojans, viruses, and worms also work against botnets. Be careful what you download, be careful what your employees can download, be more restrictive than maybe necessary. You can always allow additional software later on. And it's always, it's a stupid saying maybe, but it's always better to be safe than sorry, especially when it comes to cybersecurity. Because as we see probably in the next video, damages are severe. And that concludes today's video on the botnets, and I'll see you in the next.